Give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Also want to give double honors unto the apostles and elders and bishops of Great Millstone, blessing and salutation unto the elect of Yasharala, which consists of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as the Akim out there enduring this truth across the four corners of the earth, preaching and prophesying through the spirit of Yahweh, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, in truth and sincerity, as well as the men and women that follow, and those who might look like the other nations but are of the nation of Israel on their father's side by blood. And just get into a quick, lesson dealing with the aviation situation, how they're reducing flights and having these huge lines, man. Long waits and having to go through TSA and all of that. People, missing planes, and they don't have enough staff. They don't have enough staff because they're expecting people to come to work and not get paid just until whenever the Democrats and Republicans decide to stop being crybabies for the most part. They can't come to agreement on how to spend the money, which is something that I want to get a little bit more into. But for time's sake, I'm going to play this video and get a couple scriptures, and Lord willing, I revisit, that subject. But, yep, let me go ahead and get it started.
The government shutdown has now dragged into its 37th day. Not only is it the longest one ever, it may also be the most damaging.
So the 2018-19 shutdown lasted 35 days. It hit about 10% of government spending. This time around, though, every agency is affected. Of course, that includes the TSA. Houston airports continue to urge passengers to get there early. We saw RAWCHAA out there with longer lines today than we've seen in a few days. TSA wait times at Bush may exceed an hour and 15 minutes or more today. Compare that to 30 to 40 minutes at Hobby. Of course, those are estimates. And the shutdown not only impacts the security operations by the day, but each shift change, so additional delays are possible, as we've seen.
Well, now airlines are responding to the latest attempt to relieve pressure on those air traffic controllers amid this government shutdown.
Yeah, so starting tomorrow, air traffic will be reduced by 10% overall because of major staffing issues, and that means canceled flights nationwide. YAHAWAH joins us.
Canceled flights nationwide. All right, due to major staffing issues. They expect people to really just keep coming to work, and then you got to come to work, and then you got to deal with people's attitudes and people trying to bring this in and not being able to take that on the plane, and they want to argue about it or whatever the case is. But you're not getting paid. When you go to work, nobody goes to work like, oh, I can't just, nobody's just ready to go to work because it's so draining. All right, let alone having to deal with other people and their attitudes and how they telling you should do your job. Sometimes the money is worth it. And what I mean by that is like, all right, I need this job. I got this job. But when you're not getting paid and you got to deal with that, like, you got to think, I'm giving up 8 to 10 hours or maybe 12 hours of my life, and I am not getting anything back from it. And a lot of people don't really have proper money management, probably don't have a savings. All right. So it's like, and if they do got a savings, I'm sure you had to dip into it. It's been a month. That means bills is due. It's been 37 days. Bills then came back around. All right, let me finish this video.
Once again at Bush Airport, for those of you traveling today and tomorrow with what you need to know, with how many flights could be affected, and also YAHAWAH, how the lines are getting worse and worse.
Okay, yeah. So as you can see the title and the channel, if you want to check out the rest of the video, but nonetheless, this is what the end looked like, man. And I say that I was riding, oftentimes through the spirit, I see license plates, and certain times it'll be something on the license plates, and I'll do a lesson off of it, and I wanted to do a lesson off of it on its own, but it kind of goes right hand in hand with this, because this is the end. So on the license plates it said finally. So if you look up finally, it had one L though. But if you look up finally, it says at the end, completely beyond Ooh, I didn't even notice this. Oh, this says beyond recovery. You already know what I gotta get. You already know what I gotta get, baby. Man, this is Jeremiah 51 and 8. I'm gonna go to 8 and read both. It says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her. Pain. If so be she may be healed. Babylon is aka America. All right. America is known as many things in the Bible, but Babylon, or the daughter of Babylon, is definitely well known as America. Because Babal, Babylon goes to Babal, which means confusion, man. you know and that's what you have, nothing but that in this place, mainly dealing with the disorder, all right, from the man, the woman, and the children, and how the workforce, everywhere is just everybody getting at everybody, so to speak. It says we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let her go, everyone into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. And that's where we at, man. All right? That's where we at. It has reached the heavens. It has reached up to the skies. And now the Lord is finally about to judge this place. We are finally at the end, baby. So you also go to final, right? And it says finish, last, all right, of or pertaining to an end, concluding, final, finis, meaning end. It goes to finish as well. We can get that, get finished, because that's what this place is done. It's done. It's finished. We are at the end. To bring to an end, to come to an end. All right. Come to an end, to limit, set bounds. And that's why I wanted to get this Job 14. All right, Job 14. I'm gonna go to 4. It says, "Who can bring?" Look at that, 144. Call all YAHAWASHI. It says, "Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one." All right, because whatever the Lord has made unclean is unclean. Okay, and hey, that goes with food as well as people. If the Lord didn't choose people, He didn't choose people. All right, He said don't eat shrimp and crab, lobster, whatever else, and He gave the particular things not to eat because they are unclean. Therefore, you don't touch them. You don't deal with them. All right. It says, "Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass," because everybody has a date. All right, as well as everything, because when you get in Second Ezra 9, right? It's the Second Ezra 9. I'm gonna just get straight to the point. It says, verse 5, "For like as all that is made in the world had the beginning and an end, and the end is manifest." And that's what we are witnessing now. The end is manifest. We are at the end. All right, we are at the boundaries, at the border. There's no healing Babylon. There's no more there's no bouncing back or anything. All right, like one of these words trending, goodbye. It's over. Okay, you had your fun. You was able to do what you do. You did / doing your wickedness, but it has reached unto the heavens, man. All right, and now it is over. Looking, is it over here? Dang, maybe I dropped it. It's all good. I'll get another one. Oh, here we go, right here. Con. So this is also Second Ezra 15 and 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." Why? Because we are living in a time at the end, and at the end, judgment must happen. Judgment must come. Okay, so the end is manifest, meaning there's going to be many wonders and signs and effects happening. All right. That's why you're seeing more and more chariot sightings. That's why you're seeing a lot of people starting to lose their wits, and a lot of people starting to come up against each other because the tensions are rising. Nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. All right, and the people, if you read down within here, though, that's coming soon too. Verse 19: a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Did we not just hit November, and a lot of people are missing out on their food stamps? You know, you don't know how long it'll last. All right, but it'll last. See, a lot of people are used to that comfort. They got complacent in the comfort. You know, they got complacent with being able to just uh, uh, get over on the system or whatever. Well, Nero 47, he coming in, he changing things. You know, and all in all, it's not. It don't feel good. You know, and through the spirit, we'll get caught up in it, but also through the spirit, we're looking forward to it. We're hastening the day. We understand that these things have to happen, man. All right. Like, and it's happening right around holiday time. But I bet you one thing, people still gonna be able to squeeze out pennies to celebrate their Thanksgiving, and squeeze out pennies to celebrate their Christmas, and squeeze out pennies to celebrate their New Year's, man. All right, because what? They're complacent. Okay, but you only gonna be able to do it for so long. All right, because guess what? The end is finally here. All right, verse 15, it says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall, Salakia. Um, dang. Oh, okay, yeah. It says, for the sword of their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. And hey, you're starting to really see that dealing with ICE. You know, it's not people fighting back just as much, but there will be martial law. There will be riots, man. Okay, people are going to get fed up after a while, not just over the ICE situation, all right, but this squeeze that's happening. Okay, that comfort that's been taken from them, they're going to lose it, right? And they can't just go out to the club how they used to, and they can't just go and buy all this fast food how they used to, or fill up their fridge how they used to, and go on this trip and that trip and get the hair done, nails done, and men hitting the barber shop and putting money on inmate. But all of this is just gonna hit, man. Okay, and people are gonna start to lose it. Their people rights are constantly being taken away. All right, eventually, I mean, you see more and more videos popping up of people starting to, realize as you've seen over the years, but that we're getting every day is closer to the end. So every day, more and more things are going to manifest and reveal themselves, because it all has to. We gotta snatch the covers off. We gotta lift that rug up, man. Can't sweep things under the rug anymore. All right. It says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And all of this kind of go hand in hand, man. Race wars. All right. Martial law. Okay. Not regarding their kings, dealing with their protests. Okay. Because the protesters are going to invoke to rioting, man. All right. That's why they throwing tear gas, people burning cop cars and throwing rocks and got bats and all. Eventually, it's gonna increase. Okay, but it says 17. This is what I wanted to get. It says a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. All right, and that's what it is. You think you're gonna be able to just take a flight whenever? All of this comfort is being taken, man. Okay, and now they're dealing with the planes, and eventually they're going to they're going to be dealing with the cars. Okay, and they're dealing with the water. It kind of remind me of this movie I used to watch, and these brothers, they had a business and they wanted to control air, land, and water as far as transportation, as in the sense of touring, but for in this sense, it's going to be under control that you can't go anywhere. All right, set up checkpoints, you know and then at that point you already know, oh, if you want to do this and do, once they take your comfort, they can use that And now you have to comply with whatever they bring up if you want that comfort back. And we already know what's huge in play, man. That RFID C hit, man, which is the MOTB, pursuing the Revelations 13 and 16. He gonna put that in your body. All right, if you want to buy or sell, he don't care how rich and famous you are and how poor and not known you are. His reasoning behind it is to control. His reasoning behind it is to defy the Most High. He's constantly fighting against the Lord, while he putting in your face that he's with the Lord, but he's with his Lord, not the Lord. If that makes sense. All right. Verse 18, it says, "For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." Yeah, it's going to get real out here. Okay? You're slowly but surely starting to show you that this ain't the America that you once heard of nor grew up in, man. And call all YAHAWASHI that we are finally at the end. Hey, with that, once again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH, and double honors once again unto our apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Blessings out to you, Akim, as well, and the men and women that follow. Shalom.